Valley Center City Council meeting for October 3rd, 2023 is now in session. Roll call.
Mayor Cicerillo?
Here.
Councilmember Stamm?
Here.
Councilmember Evans?
Here.
Councilmember Bass?
Here.
Councilmember Anderson? Councilmember Gregory?
Here.
Councilmember Kerstetter?
Here.
Councilmember Wilson?
Here.
Councilmember Colbert?
Here.
Please rise for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Gracious and loving God, we thank you for blessing us, blessing the city of Valley Center in many different ways. We thank you for the people who make up the city and for the churches in the city who believe in the power of prayer. We seek you, oh Lord, tonight on behalf of the city, along with our Mayor Lou and all the city council members and early municipal workers, employees, and first responders. We ask that you give them your wisdom, understanding, and guidance as they continue to serve. Tonight, this is our prayer. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. In Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item 5, approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, raise your hands. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 6, the administration agenda, the city council meeting minutes of September 19th, 2023.
Motion to approve the minutes of the September 19th, 2023 regular council meeting as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, raise your hands. Motion carries. All right. We do not have any presentations or proclamations. So we're at the point of the meeting that's a public forum. At this point, is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak to an item that is not on the agenda? I'm seeing none. We have no appointments. We will move on to old business. Item A, ordinance 1396-23, island annexation.
Showing red. Why did I don't need a microphone? You guys know that. But good evening, Mayor and Council. Here is your second reading of Ordinance 1396-23, which is the island annexation. This is one of two that are before you this evening. This is for the 146.39 acres in the north corner of Ridge and 77th. I'll stand for any questions that you might have from our last reading of this ordinance.
Councilmember Kerstetter.
I don't have a question. I just have a comment that the main reason I'm okay with going forward with this is it's a request of the landowners. So both of these annexations are at the request of landowners, and that's why I'm okay with approving them.
Councilmember Bass.
And just so we're clear, this is just an initial approving the annexation. This isn't changing the land use or any of those things at this time. Isn't that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Council, we do have two people that want to speak on these items. As soon as we get that rectified. I thought I heard it when you were unscrewing it.
It was still working, but I didn't want it to cut out when
Okay.
folks from the public. Sorry, we hosted our second grade class from Wheatland here last week. All 5 classes from their second graders, and so the microphone was used a little bit during that time. So
Okay.
I apologize, Mayor.
That's all right. Okay. First up, Deanna Bushell. I hope I got it right this time.
Good evening. I'm here again to reiterate my opposition to both of these ordinances. I realize that it is at the landowner's request. However, having been involved from the start of the request for zoning or the request for a conditional use permit with the county, that having been denied or was on track to be denied, shall I say, they pulled the request and immediately, I mean, within 24 hours, turned around and requested this annexation in the hopes of doing an end run around the request for the zoning change. Just because they haven't requested it yet doesn't mean they're not going to. And I'm going to tell you, I'm here, as are my friends going to be here and my neighbors to fight this until the bitter end. I believe that the steps taken have been not according to law that I have found. I can't prove that because I'm not a lawyer, but I can read. Again, I want to voice my opposition to both of these ordinances. I understand the reasoning behind accepting it, but it doesn't mean I have to abide by it and take it sitting down. Again, I said most of what I had to say last week when I gave you all, or last meeting when I had all of my information and all of my letters and all of my documentation. But again, I just wanted it on the record. We do oppose this. Thank you.
And then Chris, is that a C in there? McElgan. Okay. I wasn't sure if that was a C, but okay.
Oh, yeah. And I told Christine that my handwriting's atrocious and I thought I'd try to catch it. And it's a hard name to pronounce.
Oh,
I appreciate
with a name like Cicerello, that wouldn't have been that hard.
Yeah, that's like music to my ears. Cicerello, and Kerstetter and everything. Well, my name again is Chris McElgan. I'm a lawyer here on behalf of Ms. Bichelle, and I represented her and some of the other adjacent landowners in the underlying initial application for rezoning that the applicant, petitioner, requester had submitted to the MAPC, and which you probably, if you've had an opportunity, which I know you have, because I always say that other than service in the military and being on a jury, service as representatives in city government is something that is one of the most important citizen type duties and efforts. And I commend you guys because you can't satisfy everybody and you try to do the best job you can. But I think I want you to take and not so much look at the legal issues, because I think ultimately there'll be depending on how things go, there'll be an appeal of the which will need to be filed by the end of the week to the approval of the annexation at the county commission level, because there was no consideration of land use issues. And I'm asking you to either delay or consider rejecting the two ordinances, because just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. And you all know that. You guys struggle with that every day. But let's take a look at what we have here, and let's kind of strip away from what I see are the issues. We have a citizen of Valley Center, as my understanding, is very active and has done great things for the community, and who I admire. Has a piece of property, and was approached by somebody else, a third party who is not a citizen of Valley Center, to develop that property for something other than its own purpose, which is residential, rural residential, to put what? A gravel and sand extraction, a sand pit, and rock crushing. They pursued a request for rezoning and was denied, and there was a very detailed staff report. The primary reason, and the reason why the ladies and gentlemen that served on the zoning commission said that the proposed use was so radically different than what the adjacent landowners, my client, the Alvarados, the other, live really right adjacent to that. We're going from residential rural to something that, and I can't remember the permitted use, but it's radically different. And it was rejected. And I think that the people that want to do this development realize that we're really not going to be able to get that done. We're not going to be able to get that done. So what can I do? Well, I, as a citizen of Valley Center, am going to ask to see if we can annex that. I want to be a citizen of one out, totally disconnected geographically to the city. And it's my understanding from Mr. Clark's presentation at the last meeting that this isn't even really covered in the current strategic plan of growth for the city, and you're in the process of amending it. And so, do you really want to set this precedent where you have a piece of property that's totally disconnected with Valley Center, except for the fact that the citizen owns it, and the fact that the owner requested that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that your analysis should start there. We all know what this is going to lead to. There's going to be a request for rezoning, conditional use, some permission by these same folks to allow for this radical change. And my clients are very concerned. They'll have a chance to voice that, but the difference in financial capabilities of doing that is radical. Number one. Number two, the fact these people they're not citizens of Valley Center. They won't even be able to exercise their displeasure by voting. And so do you really want to set that precedent for the fact that this is simply requested by a citizen of Valley Center? And everything that I've read is that there's no economic impact to your community. The number of jobs are going to be, and as at least presented at the MAPC, are minimal. So, I just strike that as, do you do this simply because you can do it? And maybe that will be your decision. But I ask you to consider the fact of all of these other people that yeah, they had some voice, but not the voice of the applicant or petitioners to do this. And actually consider it. Yeah, there's going to be some opportunities to have further consideration and argument over this. But again, just because a citizen owns this piece of property that's significantly distant, has no other connection, and at least currently, as I understand it, Mr. Clark will correct me, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but in looking at the video from the other night, it seemed like, hey, we really got to kind of get our processes together and amend our strategic plan to even make this consistent with that. So I ask you, as part of your citizenry duty, and perhaps what I see as good government, to consider strongly the interest of these people that are unrepresented because they're not your citizens. They're not your citizens. And again, think about, do you really want to set this type of precedent? Because where do you draw the line as to where a Valley Center citizen may want to be an island of themselves to get some type of economic advantage or the opportunity of economic advantage? And I don't blame these folks for wanting to use that property, but is this the right way to do it? Is this the right way to do it? Again, I thank you for your time. I commend you for your service to the community, and I'll take any questions, or if not, thank you for the opportunity to present my client's view today.
Counsel? Don't see any. Thank you very much. Did you want, Kelly? I didn't get a form for you. Go ahead.
Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight again. I just had one.
Oh, yeah, since I don't have a form.
Kelly Parks, 8005 North Hoover. And I'm adjacent to it. I don't really care what they do with the sand pit, but my comment was heard by one council member here last time. Dale, thank you for speaking up and saying, I don't see any problem with a geologist, and that's the last I heard of it. I didn't get contacted. Nobody said anything else to me about it. I do appreciate your thoughtfulness and keeping the city out of a potential legal liability later on when the people around there start losing their water wells. You know what this looks like? I've been sitting behind a bench like this before myself. You know what this looks like? It looks like, she said basically what I was going to say, an end run. It looks like sneaky politics. Please don't do this to us. Don't do that to yourself. in particular, I just had to say that. It looks that way. Perception's everything, folks. And that's what it looks like we're doing here. And on down the line, we're not going to have anything. We're just going to have an annexation. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. Mr. Stam, you asked me last week or last time I was here, how long I'd lived there. I don't really see what you were getting at there. And if you'd like to answer that right now, I'd open that to you during this time.
I just asked you how long you lived there because you'd commented about, you was concerned about the water quality if a pit did come in. And my question to you was there's a whole bunch of pits. In fact, there's one just like a 16th of a mile behind some houses to the west of Bridge right there. Did any of those affect your
Oh,
water?
not my house.
I didn't say your house. I said
Oh.
west of Ridge. That was my only,
Oh, west of Ridge.
yeah.
Well,
That was
that's-
my only rebuttal was you were concerned about water.
Yeah.
Did the other sand pits
Okay.
affect your water quality?
You said something about several hundred pits or something that you counted.
There's 19.
that's a-
It wasn't several hundred, 19.
Oh, well, excuse me for misunderstanding what you said about the whole county and anyway. I didn't really think about this till after the meeting last time. And one of your own city employees, nobody was here at that time. Barry was probably here at that time when the grader operator near 53rd and Ridge lived out there, and they started digging one of these. In 2 weeks, he didn't have a water supply. And he came to me, he came to the city, he came to other people. This was a long time ago. I don't even remember his name, but he was a nice guy, good grader operator, way before Herschel. But he came trying to get something done, retired shortly thereafter, had to haul water to his house, had to bathe at his relative's house. I'm telling you, and it wasn't too long till he died. It just took it out of him. I just wondered if anybody had thought about if you are going to down the line allow a sand pit or a mining operation and or concrete grinding, which is noisy, dusty. Well, I dealt with one of those on the county commission over by Keachai. Started out real good. Everybody was a mile away from it, but boy, that concrete dust will get up in the air, and that's bad stuff. Anyway, I wondered if anybody considered the turning lane that you're going to have. You have a highway engineer here present tonight? Nobody from
He is
PTC
not- he
comes
is
to
not-
meetings
he is not
anymore
here.
or anything? Anyway, I'm telling you that there's probably about, from what I can tell from other projects that are going on, $600,000 turning lane that you're going to have on Ridge. And you know, if you annex the property up to the road, you have to take that road. You're going to have Ridge Road to maintain now, and you're going to have a turning lane for those trucks to get in there. And that is a deep ditch. And I'm just saying, hey, this is kind of a constructive notice on that too, that if you're going to be turning trucks in there, that this deep ditch is going to have a turning lane. I don't know if the chief of police has any ideas on that or not. I'm not going to ask him, but I don't want to put him on the spot. I didn't talk to him before this, but you know about turning lanes. Everybody in here knows about turning lanes. You have a 55-mile-an-hour zone. Maybe you're going to do like Mays did and put up some 30-mile-an-hour speed signs and have a honey pot or something out there. I don't know what your plans are because there's not a lot of information coming. I guess that's where I'm at. There's not a lot of information coming. So anyway, just thought I would say those few things and really consider what you're doing and how it's perceived by not only myself, but other people in this area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank Chris, paper two heads, very common sense. Thank you.
Okay, council.
I just want to, sorry.
That's all
I
right. Go
just
ahead.
want to reiterate that we're voting strictly on the annexation, that any future land use petition changed, goes through the Planning and Zoning Committee. They would have to approve it, scrutinize studies, geologists, and then it would finally make it back to us if they approved it. And then we vote on that issue. So that, is that the proper?
Yeah, and so there's
Proper
multiple
process?
steps,
Yeah.
to get to, what the folks, 3 previous had spoken about with a sand, pit operation or rock crushing quarry. And so, tonight is just on the island annexation itself, as requested by the property owners to annex into the city. Of course, the island annexation process did go through the county, and now it's back to you. And so you had requested to the county to allow, have the county allow you, give you the opportunity to annex it. Last meeting was our first reading of our second one, which is tonight, of accepting the island annexation in 2 different ordinances. Now, as far as, Mr. Arbuckle can answer any legal questions, as far as process or procedures that you might have, and he is versed in that as well. So I'll stand for any questions, or if you have any of our city attorney, Mr. Barry Arbuckle, I'm sure that he is ready as well.
Councilmember Kerstetter.
This, I might have the terminology mixed up, but this is in our area of influence
Yes, yeah.
before annexation.
Yes, this has been on our area of influence from the map amendments that we did back in 2020.
Okay.
It actually goes all the way to Ridge Road, all the way south to 53rd.
53rd. Where, how far north does it go?
And then north to 109th
On Ridge?
on Ridge, yes. Yep,
Okay.
Ridge is the dividing line.
That's what I thought. I just was one that clarified.
Yep,
I
absolutely.
thought I had another question, but I didn't write it down.
And so, when we went through that process of adding it into our area of influence, that's where the city's going to grow, is to
Right.
the west.
We
So
can't
that
go
was
east. We have to go west.
identified, by the county at that time. It went through all the public hearings at that level. Also went through the county commissioners, and so multiple hearings on that as well. So yes, this is in our area of influence. Now is in our comp plan. Of course, we haven't updated the comp plan, as that's not something you update every year. It would financially bankrupt us. And so, that's something that gets done every 10 years, and it was already slated to do next year, well before any island annexation requests.
And just for on the further clarification, after annexation, it says that this will go into effect October 12th, which is next week.
Actually, we changed that.
It was
Christie?
sent back out
It
to
was
you.
set-
I didn't open
And-
that. Sorry.
Yep, and on this too.
That
it
was the
it
only
yesterday.
change because we don't usually put the publication date and
Oh,
so
okay.
we took
All
it
right.
back
So
out
then it'll be
So-
effective tomorrow.
Yep, effective
Okay.
October 3rd.
Thursday, yeah.
Thursday.
Okay. All right.
Second reading is now today, which is the 3rd, and then the 5th when the paper comes out. Which I
Now-
always question because it gets put out Wednesday, but anyways. The official affidavit is Thursday.
Just because I don't know, even though, assume we approve this, can the property owners request de-annexation? So say they change their mind tomorrow, even though we approved it. Are they allowed to do that even though
The
we?
property owners can.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you.
Anybody else? Do we have a motion?
The second reading of ordinance 1396-23, islands annexing approximately 146.39 acres at the northeast corner of Ridge and 77th.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hands. Motion carries. All right, moving on to ordinance 1397-23.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is for the 2 tracks that are just north of the track that you just voluntarily island annexed in. This is the 2 pieces, 280 tracks that are right along 85th Street that are also then adjacent to Ridge Road on the west side. Dan, for any questions? One property owner, of course.
So
Go ahead.
each ordinance is for 2 different property owners,
Yes.
correct? Okay. That's it. Motion to approve for second reading ordinance 1397-23, island annexing approximately 160 acres at the southeast corner of Ridge and 85th Street.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hands. Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Moving on to new business item A, executive session preliminary discussion concerning the acquisition of real property.
Move for council to recess into executive session for the preliminary discussion of the acquisition of real property. The open meeting will resume in the city council chamber in 10 minutes. This will include the mayor, council, city administrator, and city attorney.
Second.
I have a motion, a second, to move into executive session. Is there any discussion? All in favor, raise your hands. Motion carries. We'll be back in 10 minutes.
Where'd Brent go?
Where did Brent go? Oh, sorry. Report?
Governing body met in an executive session for 10 minutes. No official action was taken.
Okay, moving on to the consent agenda.
Oh, you forgot one.
Oh, did I forget what? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Item B, call for special meeting. Where did he go? There you are. You want to,
Mayor,
Yep.
the wording in that is 6 o'clock. It is at 7, which is what which will be published and the agenda sent out.
okay,
7 PM.
so this doesn't actually need any motion on it. It's just a public notice that on, and I'll do it, on October 12th, 2023 at 7 PM in City Hall. City Council will meet for a special meeting for the purpose of a hearing regarding the proposal loan in an amount not to exceed 19 million to be taken by the city from the Kansas Public Water Supply Loan Fund administered by the Kansas Department of Health and Environment pursuant to KSA 66-163C. And this is for the upcoming water treatment plant that we've been working on for quite some time.
Yes, Mayor and Council, good evening. So what this does, and we apologize, there has to be a 30-day notice prior to having the public hearing. And the way our council meetings and the way that we schedule it, it just wasn't going to work in our regularly scheduled meetings before the deadline of having to submit the application. So this is a request to KDHE for a loan. Basically, we're going to apply for either a 20 or 30-year loan. Going through this process, 20 years, typically 60%, of the market rate, interest rate at the time once we, if they do accept our application and those things. If you do a 30-year, then 70%, of the interest, the market rate at the time of issuance. And sometimes there's forgivable portions of that as well. And so depending upon, right now we're working towards our 30% design with Burns and Mack, who will be here on the 12th to present to you. According to that, is what we really need to have the hearing for and get our application in, saying that, our loan potentially will not exceed, $19 million as we continue to pursue our water treatment plants. Of course, water treatment plant, you can't build it overnight. It takes many years to permit a water treatment plant, as that is a public, municipal water supply that goes to all your constituents. And so we want to make sure that everything, all boxes are checked. But it will let you know that right now, the design we're looking at 1.4 MGD or million gallons daily for our treatment plant, with the capacity of potentially expanding that to 2 million gallons daily as we continue to grow and expand. And so right now, what we want to do is have that public hearing. And then if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, or we can wait till next week for the experts to address them as well. So this is really just for the public hearing.
Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Okay, now we can move to the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hands. Motion carries. All right, moving on to staff reports. Mr. Schrack.
Good evening, everyone. Just a couple of quick updates. First, Main Street Farmers Market will be meeting this Thursday from 4 to 7 p.m. A little bit of a special preview for that is that our very own Bill Andrews, who serves as our code enforcement officer and building inspector, he and his music group, Grassroots Trio, will be performing at this farmers market event. So if you haven't had a chance to come to the farmers market this season, this is an extra special reason to come and support one of our staff and his musical endeavors. And then secondly, along with Main Street, as you may or may not be aware, one of the board member positions for Main Street Valley Center is a representative of City Council. Currently, that position is filled by Councilmember Gregory. This term is up in December, at the end of December of this year. So at the first city council meeting in December, I will be asking council to vote and approve on the person, whether it's Gina or someone else, to serve in that board position for the next 3-year term. So Gina has said that she'd love to do it again, and we definitely appreciate her service to Main Street Valley Center. But if you want to talk amongst yourselves, I will be bringing that back to council at the first meeting in December to serve in that capacity. And again, thank the council for their support this year, as in the past for Main Street. And that's all for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Owings. Chief Newman.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just an update and a couple events coming up. The new engine, I talked last meeting about that. It is really close. It's so close. It's spending the night in Salina tonight, so we'll be here tomorrow late morning sometime, we hope, early afternoon maybe. We're hoping.
Did it get tired?
Well, the company's wanting to show it off to some people as it makes its way home. So it'll be here late tomorrow morning. I think we've got even other fire departments coming here tomorrow to look at it as well. So we're hoping to be able to show it off to the public Thursday at the farmer's market. Fire department will be there for that. I think it's called Hottober. So it's fire prevention. We're kind of kicking off our fire prevention with that, which also next week we're going to have open house for Fire Prevention Week. So Monday through Thursday, we'd love to have you come out. We're going to be showing off the new truck there as well. We'll be there from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. each night, Monday through Thursday. And finally, this Saturday, with all the garage sales and everything else going on, we are doing Faith in Blue again. I think this is our 3rd year now that we're partnering up with Life Point Church, and we'll be over at Lions Park near the community center. So if you have any time, we'd like to see you come out to that as well.
Thanks,
It'll
sir.
be 11 to 2.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Eggleston. Mr. Shear's not here. Mr. Arbuckle. Mr. Smith.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. One quick item this evening. So throughout the budget process, we got a lot of feedback when it came to property taxes and mill levies and raising them and lowering them, or how that's going to affect everyone individually. So we did some work in-house on the finance side, and we came up with our own property tax calculator for every year moving forward. If there's ever any kind of new initiatives that come about regarding mill levies and property taxes, our residents will be able to use this to help figure out, exactly what changes are going to occur to their property taxes. So it's located within the finance department on our website, and it's just called Property Tax Calculator. So basically what you can do is up here on the left, you can slide this little value to whatever your home's worth, and everything's going to adjust on the right side. Your total tax bill regarding all taxing jurisdictions, just your city portion of that, and what your current 2023 tax bill is based on the tax levies right now. Now, when it comes to November, all of those will update. They'll all have their little fine adjustments to them, so that'll change in November. But for right now, that's how that works. You can adjust the city mill levy here up and down, or you can come down here and want to see what it looks like if it increases by 2 mills. It's going to show you your taxes are going to go up $82.34 for the year, or about $6.86 a month. Or you can go back the other way and see what happens if we drop it 2 mills. It's going to drop $89.34 or $7.44 a month. So after seeing all the feedback and in person, on social media, all that, we just wanted to put out another tool that could be more used for us moving forward and all of our residents as well. So just wanted to share that with you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I was privileged to see this before this meeting, and I was ecstatic because what we had, which I didn't bring up at the budget meeting, is I threw together a quick spreadsheet to just kind of basically show the same thing. And then I sent it to Barry, and he, of course, made it even better. And it got to the point where I decided now it wasn't necessary to have him bring it up. And then I saw this email, and I'm like, I don't think there is a single other taxing entity that even attempts to show you how to do that. And as we all know how much of a wizard he's been and how much we appreciated it, I was ecstatic. I was just, I mean, it was great idea. And I really want people to go there and use it. I mean, you'll see a lot of what we've been trying to say in our meetings. So thank you again, sir. Mr. Clark.
Good evening once again. Yes, and then so we'll do a marketing campaign a little bit and put it on all social media pages and blast it out, as well as put on our homepage as a news flash and those things to make sure that the public knows it's available. And there's a ton of great information that Barry and his staff put together on the website that people really need to check out when it comes to dashboards, projects, really find out the financials of the municipality, especially all these projects going on. They make it so easy and interactive. I mean, if I can do it, anyone can. So, if people say they don't know, well, they're not really trying hard. They got to meet us halfway. Also, too, wanted to make sure that you knew that next week I will not be here. I'll actually be gone during the special meeting, as well as majority of our administration. And so we will be in the hands of Neil and Rodney. Will help you out through that special meeting, as well as some other staff members stepping in for Barry, Christy, and I, as we are gone at either conferences or vacations. So do apologize for that. And also, too, I was going to say belated, but I can't do that. So make sure to mark your calendars. I know our meeting is the 17th. But on the 16th of October, it's a very special day. It is Lloyd's birthday. So Lloyd, happy really early birthday. So happy birthday, Chief. Stand for any questions.
I see none. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, move on to governing body reports. I have nothing. Councilmember Stam.
I have nothing.
Councilmember Evans.
I have nothing.
Councilmember Bass.
I want to thank Barry for that calculator. I love calculators, and that's something that I'm going to guarantee I'm going to use. And so appreciate it.
Councilmember Gregory.
If I had a little gold statuette to give Mr. Clark, I would. Last week, I helped with the second grade classes for a little while, but I couldn't stay the whole day. 6 hours, this man talked about government to 7 and 8-year-old kids, and he was fantastic. It was awesome. You did a great job. Thank you. You're welcome.
Councilmember Kerstetter.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Councilmember Wilson.
I'm good, sir.
And Mr. Colbert.
Okay, I just have two things. One is, remember I asked the council if anybody wanted to go to the base. And we picked the 30 or 31st dates that would be possible to go. The base informed me now it's been changed to November 2nd. And they're looking for a minimum of 25 people. So is anybody interested in going to see me after we get through here? If not, then by the 15th, if you don't have 25, then the trip will be off on there. Unless there's individuals who want to get down separately. They can go down. That's the first thing. The second thing is, don't forget that once a year, the city of Wichita honors veterans with a special program. And this year it's going to be at PBS October 15th at 7 p.m. And since we have a special meeting that night, I don't think anybody will be able to make it on there.
It's a different night.
Yeah, it's a different night.
It's a different night.
Yeah.
October
She said
15th.
15th.
Yeah.
15th is a Sunday.
That's Thursday, is.
Our meeting's on the 12th.
Oh, I'm sorry, October 12th.
Okay.
No,
So it is on the same night.
October 12th. Okay, better make sure. Other than that, if there's no other business before the council, I'll make a motion the meeting be adjourned.
Second.
I have a motion, a second to adjourn. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.